Hey there, Mike.
Hey.
Welcome to episode 4 of Warm
According
Takes.
to Wikipedia, Michael Len Williams II, known professionally as Michael, made it or simply
Hey,
Michael,
Google!
is an
Stop! I was talking to Mike. Dang. Don't blow my cover on shitting online trivia, though. Okay. So, episode 4 of Warm Takes, and we're off to a great start already.
Yeah.
You know who we got today?
Who do we have?
We got a true pretentious hack.
Oh, shit.
Mr. Maringoni!
I think I'm now Jakey 28 belts. I won like 20 belts in between my last time being on the show, so I thought I might let everyone know.
Fair. I'm pretty sure there are at least 50 trivia leaks online now.
Still gotta get that one from Time Trivia.
Yes, that's like the grail. But cool. So you guys know what we're doing today. We're doing warm takes. I already announced it. I have the thing in the corner and the background and everything. How do you think this is gonna go today, Jake?
I am scared because everybody knows I read a lot of stuff, like 2.5 or 3 stars. I'm very curious to see which ones you brought up because I'm like scared.
I will admit this is the hardest prep I have to do for a warm take because this man had over 200 movies in the range, and it was particular. So I just ended up flipping a coin most of the time. So let's see what happens. You ready, Mike?
I was born ready.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this now so I don't forget later. And boom, first movie. Scooby-Doo! Monsters Unleashed!
Oh. This film sucked, okay?
This is actually, I actually originally think, like my opinion is that this is the better of the two because at least it's kind of a Scooby-Doo movie, you know, like the villain, you take the mask, like it follows the formula. The first one is like, no. But 1 star. Interesting. So what the hell did you give to the first one?
Half a star. Scooby-Doo, I will go on record. Scooby-Doo is the worst film I've ever seen. I hate that movie more than any other film. I would destroy every copy if I get my hands on it. And the sequel's just slightly better. It's a lot more cartoony and campy, and that's like okay for what this film is trying to do, but like it's still terrible.
Fair. Mike, he's trashing your favorite movie. What's up?
It's a fucking movie. It is a fucking movie. So, yeah, I see 1 star as a suitable rating.
Mike gave this 2 stars, so he likes it twice as much.
I mean, yeah, that's math, yeah.
Beastly, 1 star, but it's like the Beauty and the Beast for like millennials and shit.
You picked up this film. It's just generic ass romantic film about one person, he's ugly, and she actually loves him for who he is. It's very special and it's unique. She loves me for who I am. It's all a curse. It's Beauty and the Beast. Like, why do you want to watch this? Beauty and the Beast.
I do love the fact that the guy has like 3 lines on his face, and he's like, "Stop it, I'm hideous."
He's like bald. He's got like tattoos and stuff. Like they tried to make him look ugly, but he's still Alex Pettifer, like the guy from Magic Mike and I Am Number 4. This just like is a film for the YA crowd, and it's just who cares. But Neil Patrick Harris is in this film, and he plays like a blind teacher.
I was gonna say I haven't actually watched this, but isn't like one of the Olsen twins like a witch?
Yes, I think it was Elizabeth.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
it's the other one, not the twin, but yeah, pretty sure. It's been a while since I saw that.
Why do you love Alex Pettifer with his 3 lines on the face?
I've only seen parts of this movie in the video store. When it first came out, they would have it playing, and I watched bits and pieces. But yeah, I've never actually seen this all the way through. So yeah, it would look like it's a 1 star movie. So I get it.
Lovely. Next movie. Alien Covenant, 1.5 stars.
Wow,
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair because this movie kind of ruined the thing for me. Like I was pretty excited with Prometheus and Ridley Scott, like trying to like fix the thing, but I feel like he went half-assed on this one. I think like he wanted to keep doing Prometheus stuff, and they were like, nope, give me alien shit, and he went like 50-50, and it's a very, very messy movie. So
that's
fair, but still, 1.5 seems a little low.
It doesn't know if it wants to be a sequel to Prometheus or a prequel to Alien. Like it doesn't know which one it wants to be, and it tries to be both, and it like fails at both at the same time. Like it tries to do the whole crew members and all that sort of stuff, and Catherine Watterson, and she's obviously trying to be like the Ripley surrogate for this movie. That all sucks. It tries to lead with the Prometheus stuff, and then they just get rid of everything that ties with Prometheus by killing all the aliens and even Noomi Rapace, and then it tries to set up with David, and that's like the only interesting thing is Michael Fassbender in the movie, like him as David and Walter, and like a couple of cool scenes. But it's like we don't need to see how the alien is created. Like it's scarier if we just don't know.
Mike, do you like this better or Alien 3?
Oh, I like this better than Alien 3.
Damn you!
Really? Oh.
But I will say this does have the greatest cameo ever. James Franco. You don't actually fucking see it.
It's killed in like the first scene.
It is so
and then that's it. Okay.
The
person is singing Green Hornet.
It is. The funny thing is, he actually has like a role in a deleted scene that they showed earlier. I think it was like an extended trailer or something.
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie. Where's Franco? No. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's the worst Aliens of the series because Resurrection is a thing. Also, Alien versus Predator Requiem is a thing.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
This is one of the worst though.
Wasted potential is I think the main thing here. Kick-Ass 2, 1.5 star. Kind of disagree with you here, but I know Kick-Ass was actually Kick-Ass is one of my favorite comic book adaptation movies. The sequel, there's a lot to be desired. It's pretty rough on parts, especially I think I feel like Chloe Grace Moretz was kind of too old for the role after the wait they had between movies, and she looks a little awkward as Hit Girl to me personally. I do love Jim Carrey. I do love the fact that some random people show up in this before they were famous, like Daniel Kaluuya.
I was just mentioned Daniel Kaluuya,
yeah. But overall, I guess it's weaker. I get that it's weaker, but still, man, 1.5 feels rough.
I think it must have been just at the time I rated this 1.5 because it's like it's. I don't know if I would say it's like terrible. It's not good. Maybe I guess it's bad. It's one of those where it just doesn't do anything interesting. Like they kill his dad because of some miscommunication with one of the characters, and I just don't like that. And it's a weird relationship between Hit Girl and Kick-Ass in this one, and Kick-Ass now knows how to fight really well. A lot of it just feels like it just has no idea what it's trying to do. Like it just doesn't feel special. Like the first one had a really cool personality, and I think Matthew Vaughn was was partially responsible for that. And this one is just like, ugh.
I also think that Kick-Ass went to the gym between movies because he's fucking buff.
Oh yeah.
Also, Mike, what is a bigger disappointment, Kick-Ass 2 or Kingsman: The Golden Circle?
Ooh, I would say Kick-Ass 2 because I enjoyed the first Kick-Ass more than I enjoyed the first Kingsman. A little more. I enjoy both of them, but I would say this is a bigger disappointment because I read the comics too, so I was really looking forward to this one. I still enjoy this one, but yeah, it's not better than the first one. But yeah, 1.5 is pretty fucking rough for this.
Yeah, this guy get to like on the hot side of it, but still fair.
Yeah, I thought the show was warm takes.
So Pikachu, Detective Pikachu, 1.5 star. This is the best video game movie ever made, apparently, and you give it 1.5 star.
Okay, so here's the thing. I love Pokemon. I'm a big Pokemon fan. Gen 4 is the shit that I grew up with. Love that stuff. I just don't really connect with this. I don't like Detective Pikachu. I know there's a couple of spin-off games focusing on that. I just feel like if you're going to make a live-action Pikachu film, why don't you focus on Ash? Why don't you focus on what Pokemon is, which is catching Pokemon and fighting gym leaders and becoming the champion of the region. Like, I don't care about this like crime mystery about Mewtwo and trying to figure out where his dad is and all that sort of stuff. And Ryan Reynolds, I don't really like in this one. I think he's cool in like Deadpool and stuff, but like this, I just who cares? Like, it doesn't feel like Pikachu. It feels like Ryan Reynolds.
This movie, this series, the Pokemon series, came out when I was in college, so I didn't really get into it. I know the first generation Pokemons, kinda, but more than that, nah. Mike, was this movie your speed?
Was it what?
Your speed, your type of movie?
I enjoyed it for what it is, but yeah, I was a Pokemon fan back when I was a little kid for the first generation. After that, I just, I grew up. And yeah, this movie, was fun for what it is. But yeah, I agree with Jake that I wish it was the other version of Pokemon if they were going to do it. Wish it was with Ash and everything else. That probably would have been better. But yeah, 1.5, Jesus fucking Christ, man. These 1.5, like fucking crazy.
You know what?
There's like opportunities in this one.
I actually went to this movie and I fell asleep, but I rewatched it when it came out on video, and I still almost fell asleep. But I think this is kind of the feeling I had with the original video games, because I never really got into the Zelda-like style of the games and the RPG battles. That's RPG is not for me. That's why I like Zelda, because I like action battles, but. I think it's the same feeling. Like, I always wanted this to be a fighting game, so I was more excited for when Pokemon Stadium came out in Nintendo 64, and it was a very disappointing game too, just like this movie. So, next movie, Rampage. This is the best video game we ever made, man, and you gave it 1.5.
This is just generic ass Dwayne Johnson movie number 294. This is what this is. This one's just based off a video game from like the 80s and the 90s. Like, I don't care. Like, the action's also just stupid. Like, gorilla fighting crocodile. They don't do anything like fun with it. It's too serious and too dark at times. And I just don't really care. Like, who is The Rock in this movie? Like, what's his character? Why should we care? Oh, he was in the Navy or the Army and he's got, like, a purple heart. Like, who cares?
His character is George's friend.
I mean, that's his relation. That's not his character.
Did you actually play this video game ever? Like, Rampage, the coin... Okay, basically you put a coin in there and you chose if you wanted to be an ape, a wolf, or a crocodile, and then you had to destroy a city and in the least amount of time possible. It was pretty dumb, but pretty entertaining. And you, sir, just trashed Mike's favorite video game movie ever. Mike, what do you got to say about that?
Now, okay, I told this story before, I think on this show, actually, that me and my friends show up to Dwayne Johnson movies just to make fun of it and to hear The Rock's music just one time in a fucking movie. That's all I wanted. And I finally got that with Fighting With My Family. So other than that, I don't like, these movies are shit. The majority of movies he has done, especially recently, are pretty fucking bad with the exception of a few. Yeah, the only thing that was funny about this was the fact that they weren't getting anybody to the theater, so he had to do I saw a fucking prom video or something of a girl who had asked The Rock to go to the prom, and he goes, I won't be able to go, but I'll be able to do this. I will get you and your classmates free tickets to go see Rampage in a theater with candy and stuff paid by me. I went, Jesus Christ, dude, is this what you're doing now? So this is the only way you get people to show up now.
That's pretty good. I mean, if you're The Rock, you can do that. Why not?
Just so you guys know, the one exception to this rule that Mike was talking about is Skyscraper. He loves Skyscraper.
Where he tries to people's elbow the earth. It's a great one.
Child's Play remake.
Uh,
1.5.
yeah.
This one has Luke Skywalker, man.
Terrible. It was terrible. Oh my god, I love the Child's Play movies. They're one of my favorite horror franchises. Those Chucky and all, and Brad Dourif, like specifically, he makes that franchise because he's so good as Chucky. Mark Hamill is too nice to play Chucky. I don't find him menacing. This one takes too much of a technological like transition, and like he's able to manipulate cars and toys and make the helicopter's propeller cuts decapitate someone's head off. Like I just don't want to see that in like a Child's Play movie. Like the original series focuses on possession of a doll and spiritual stuff, and this one's more technological based. I don't like how it opens and how it sets up how Chucky is Chucky. I don't like the main kids; like they all suck. There is one funny moment in which someone gets their throat slashed by Chucky, and he's in like one of those big, like giant teddy bear costumes, like at like a toy store, and then a kid comes up to the teddy bear and tries to hug it, and then like the head comes off, and just all this blood starts just gushing out, and then all on the kid, and they just start screaming, and I was just like laughing in the cinema when I saw that. I thought that was hilarious. But other than that, this film was just a poopy. And there was a guy in the movie who looked like Jack Black, and I was so convinced it was Jack Black, and then I turned to my friend and said, "That's Jack Black," and he's like, "What are you fucking talking about? That's not Jack Black." I was so convinced. This like the guy, he's like the maintenance person in the movie. I don't know if you guys see it. You've seen this one?
Yeah, I've seen this one.
It's like the maintenance guy who fixes Chucky, like during the second going into the third act. I thought that guy was Jack Black, and I was so convinced it wasn't. It wasn't.
This movie exists because people like the studio wanted money. Basically, even though the Child's Play brand belongs to the studio, the character of Chucky is also co-owned. Damn, I'm forgetting his name.
Mancini. Oh,
Mancini. Don Mancini. So Mancini was the one pushing for the continuing the original storyline with the DVD releases of Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, which are actually excellent films if you guys haven't seen them. But he wanted to keep going in that direction, but since those movies were not going into theaters anymore, the only thing he could secure was a TV show. And the studio said they wanted to do Child's Play again, so they did Child's Play again, just different. So it's kind of funny that we're basically gonna have two concurrent Chucky things going on, because this movie, I don't know if it's gonna get a sequel because I don't think it made that much money, but the original line is still going with the TV show that got approved for next year. I think it's gonna be on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I believe so.
I will be watching that
with Brad Dourif and his daughter and Mancini. So good stuff.
And Jennifer Tilly. Bring back. I want to see Tiffany. She's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think Jennifer Tilly is involved in that one too. But the thing is that yes, Chucky spiritual, cool. Chucky technological, no. So fair assessment. Next movie. This is 41.5 stars. This is too hot. Let's not talk about this one. Man.
I just felt like Avatar. Oh
Man.
god, yes.
1.5.
I saw
this is a pretty warm take. Let give me some. Sack forward. Listen. What do you think, man? Why so low for Pan?
I love Peter Pan. I love the 2003 one with Jeremy Sumter. That was from my childhood. That was great. This one is too much of a cinematic universe. We got to set up the whole storylines of Captain Hook, Tiger Lily, and Peter. It all is shit. Blackbeard is the villain in this one, and he sings Ramon and Smells Like Teen Spirit. That decision is just so insane. I don't know whose idea was that. Let's have Blackbeard sing in this time where there is no Smells Like Teen Spirit, because it hasn't existed, because that's a song from the 90s, and this takes place in I think the 40s, I think during World War II. Makes no sense. Visually it looks disgusting and I want to vomit. A lot of the visuals are terrible to look at. Some of the production design is very cheap and does not feel real, and this film is just not fun to watch. I really like Peter Pan, so I was kind of cautiously optimistic going into it. Zach Ford, you are crazy.
I actually love Peter Pan. I have been always been a Peter Pan guy. The only movie I have not yet seen is the one that Australia made this year. I think it's called Wendy.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ben Zeitlin. Yeah, who's the guy who did Beast of the Southern Wild, which is another Zach Ford favorite.
I need to watch that one, but other than that, I am pretty complete on Peter Pan related things, and this is by far the worst. This movie
Return
makes
to Neverland is better than Pan.
Return to Neverland is better than Pan. This movie has one capital sin, and it's thinking we care about Garrett Hedlund. We do not.
Yeah,
Mike, why is this your favorite Peter Pan movie?
I'm just glad I'm not looking at Hook right now, all right? Because if I was looking at Hook, it'd be a different conversation. Pan, yes.
I like Hook.
Movie.
I like Hook.
Yes. Good, just like Hook.
So it's your second favorite Peter Pan movie. Cool. Boom! Bohemian Rhapsody at 2 stars.
This is definitely a warm take.
This is actually a perfect warm take. And I completely agree with it. Why is it so? What is it 2 stars?
This is weird. Like, I don't like this movie. I just, what I think should be the better version of this movie is Rocket Man, and I think this film tries to do. Rocket Man just perfectly executes. This one's trying to not only be a Freddie Mercury story, but it's trying to be Queen's. And because Queen only signed to make this movie because they wanted them to be a part of it, like, no, Queen was such a big deal, and it wasn't just Freddie Mercury. So that's why you always have like cutaways to the other band members when they're not doing anything. The editing in this movie is atrocious. I hate the editing, and it's from an editor that I like. He's the guy who did the music for all the X-Men movies. It's oh my god, I'm gonna forget his name. John Ottman. Like, the guy who did the X-Men music, which is pretty good. Like, he's the editor for this, and it's like terribly edited. I think Rami Malek gives like an actually great performance. That's why it kind of moves up to being a 2 stars. I think he's really fantastic in this movie, but I just don't like everything else. And he doesn't actually sing. It's like 2 different voice tracks just intermixed, and I just don't like that. Just let him sing. And visually, some of it's cool, but it's just like, who cares? And there's a romance and like other shit, and it's just, who cares?
I was with you until you said that Rami Malek did a good job. I think this man was fighting with his fake teeth during the whole movie, and he lost the fight. The best person in this movie is Joseph fucking Mazzello from Jurassic Park. Tell him, Mike.
Yes, he is definitely the best. I love him in this movie. And we lost Jake. Oh, no, he's back. Okay.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
It just crashed on me. My internet is not nice.
But yeah, I can agree. The editing sucks in this movie, but I enjoy this movie. So, but I get it.
Rocket Man all the way.
Boom. Next movie, The Mockingjay Part 2.
I'm literally watching this like tomorrow. What? I watched Part 1 today.
So, do you like Part 1 better than Part 2?
Well, I've got to rewatch it, but Part 1 is terrible. I don't like it. It's very boring. Nothing really happens. It's all about filming propaganda stuff, and Part 2 is just like, we're gonna go and attack, and it's like the Hunger Games because there's traps and shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those just really disappointing endings. It's called the Hunger Games, and there's not really anything to do with the Hunger Games after the first 2. And I feel like that's just disappointing, or just like a stupid thing. I just don't like that idea. Same with like the Maze Runner. It's all about running through mazes. It's like one cool concept, and then like, we gotta explore like these societies and.
We're gonna move on. Next one. Boom! The Room. 2 stars.
Yes.
I was actually kind of disappointed that you didn't have like 2 stars and a little heart next to it, because like everybody loves them.
Yeah, I should really. I love The Room. I think it's a masterpiece. I should definitely put a love heart and then just say like this is a great movie. This is just one of those. I love bad movies. I like watching watching bad movies, getting drunk and watching them is one of the best things you could ever do. And this is just one of the most sought after, famous examples of bad movies. I would love to see this in the theater. That's like the one experience I haven't had when it comes to The Room. So I'd definitely like to give that a shot. But yeah, this is just like, it's terrible. Like, it's awful. But I love the experience of watching it. But just gotta give it a theater experience. But yeah, just a terrible film. That's my 2 stars. I guess I really should figure out exactly where I want this to. How I want to rate The Room, because am I rating it as like as an amazing bad movie, or like it's just a terrible movie? So
this movie is so specially bad that you kind of feel like it had to be done on purpose, but apparently it wasn't. It was just a miracle of filmmaking. Tommy was so
movie.
So Tommy was so special, and the fact, the one thing that makes me truly believe that this was kind of an accident was that he actually has tried to do other movies after, and they're never as savory, as deliciously terrible as this. This movie is, 2 stars is a fair take, but you need a little heart next to it anyway. Mike, how many times have you watched The Room?
I've watched it a few times, and I've seen it in the theater, and it's a movie if I've ever seen one. I don't even give a fuck into this one because, it's just a movie.
Oh, hi, doggy. Perfect.
That's the best scene. That best scene where he's getting flowers.
Dark Phoenix, 2 stars. Might call it a little high on my end because this movie is fucking terrible. And I will say
this film is terrible.
I will say a hot take in this series thing that we do warm takes for. My hot take is that Last Stand is actually better than this.
I think I have to agree with you on that, honestly. There's some good ideas, and the stuff they do in Last Stand is pretty cool. The whole idea of the cure and all that sort of stuff is like just a cool idea. This is just, what is this film? It's trying to set up a new series, but it's like they knew this is going to be the last one. I just don't understand that. It just doesn't continue. And also, I just hate the continuity in the X-Men films, because in Apocalypse, she has the Phoenix, and in this one, she gets it. And it takes place 10 years after that. This takes place in the 90s, and they've aged like a couple of years. A lot of the continuity just makes no sense, and I really hate that.
I really don't understand what they're feeding these mutants, but between 1960 and 1990, they're like, dang, well preserved.
Well.
Maybe time runs differently in the Xavier Mansion. Mike, what do you feel about the conclusion of the Mutant series?
It's a fucking movie through and through. Like, this and The Last Stand are the worst movies to me out of these franchises.
Oh, yeah. X-Men Origins is worse, though.
Yeah. Like, see, the Wolverine Origins and shit, I don't consider that technically part of the X-Men universe. I consider that the Wolverine trilogy, even though, holy fuck, there's only one in that series.
Liev Schreiber is the best Sabretooth, though.
Yeah, I'll give you that, yeah.
No, Tyler Mane is better.
What? No.
Tyler Mane is the wrestler who played him in the first one.
He's a fucking singer of Metallica in that movie. No. Next movie.
What do we get?
Step Brothers.
Oh, yes.
Why is not the fucking
I fucking don't like this movie.
Why do you like?
I don't like this movie. I don't like.
You can go.
I can go. Okay. So I don't like a lot of Adam McKay's and Judd Apatow movies. Their comedy is just not for me. Like, the only way they can tell jokes is through dialogue, and I just prefer you tell jokes in another way. That's why I like Edgar Wright. He tells a lot of visual gags and foreshadowing and all that sort of stuff that I find just much better as far as jokes. This is just two people acting like children, and I'm not a child, and I consider myself more mature than these two characters, so I don't really care about them sleepwalking and pissing themselves and playing the drums with their bowls. Like that's not stuff that I find funny. The only good thing about this movie is Richard Jenkins, because I just feel for him. I wish these two kids would just grow the fuck up. Nothing is funny about this movie except Richard Jenkins. Yeah, I just don't like this movie. I don't like the characters.
Did you just say you don't like Judd Apatow?
I don't like a lot of his movies. No.
That was a short episode, Mike.
Yeah.
We can wrap it up. Fine. I mean, Judd Apatow, it's a little heavy-handed, and he needs a better editor. But other than that, it's actually pretty fucking brilliant. This movie is the Great Catalina Wine Mixer. Mike, what's up?
Yeah, I've already talked about this numerous times. I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan, so I agree with Jake. I don't really care for this movie. There's barely any Will Ferrell movies I really actually enjoy, and this is really not one of them. It's all right, but yeah. I like John.
I kind of want to put this rating lower now that we've been talking about it. I want to put this at like 1 star now. Nazario, just want you to know that.
What is the name of that movie where he's selling everything out of his house? Like everything must go.
Must go. Yeah, everything must go.
House?
That's actually pretty good. And also, Stranger Than Fiction is pretty good for Will Ferrell movies, Mike. And unpopular opinion, I like Land of the Lost. So there you go.
Land of the Lost is funny.
Boom. Batman Forever. There's the heart. That's what I was talking about. 2 stars.
There's the heart.
So why do you heart Forever?
I remember renting this movie at the Video Easy store or Blockbuster, one of those two, all the time. I grew up with the Schumacher Batman movies. As a kid, I enjoyed them because that's what I was. I was a kid, and they were for me. I really love Batman Forever. I still have I guess it's basically nostalgia at this point. Why I like the movie? One of the first Batman movies I saw, it feels a lot like Batman. As a kid, just seeing all the characters, all the villains, and the rogues gallery, and Batman and Robin in this movie. I really enjoy that stuff, and I'm just a big Riddler fan. He's one of my favorite villains in comic book films, and I think Jim Carrey is just hilarious in this movie. He really makes this movie just really fun to watch. And I also really like the U2 song that plays during the end credits. But yeah, this is just a fun movie to watch.
Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. That is a fucking great song. And
Staying on my Spotify playlist. Great song. Great music video as well.
Yes. Also, and this is actually the first movie that made me realize that you can have great side characters that mean nothing to the plot just because of how memorable they are. Because the security guy in the first scene in the bank just keeps narrating things unnecessarily. Like when Batman takes the thing off his mouth, it's a trap, and then the door closes. Or like when he's flying in the bubbles and they start pouring acid. It's pouring acid! Oh my god, that guy's amazing! Mike, Joel Schumacher's Batman, what's up?
I think it's a fun movie. Yeah, is it a good movie? No, but it's a fun movie. I enjoy it. I've enjoyed these since I was a little kid. I've watched it recently. I still enjoy it. It's ridiculous, but fuck it. It's an enjoyable fucking movie.
And shout out before we move on. Just shout out. So during the scene where Batman goes down the ceiling and he stops Two-Face's goons. It's like a party.
Yeah.
And there's a guy right next to Nicole Kidman as Batman is jumping down the ceiling. There's a guy next to Nicole Kidman shouting, "It's Batman!" Yeah!
Yeah, the circus.
He makes that movie. He's the best. Batman! Yeah!
Mike, next list. Side characters in Joel Schumacher's Batman movies. Write that down for him, right? Boom. Pacific Rim Uprising.
Oh, yes.
2 stars. Why do you hate kaiju and Jaegers?
I like kaijus and I like Jaegers. I like the first one. I like Guillermo del Toro's film. This is not a Guillermo del Toro film, though. This is a bastardization of what del Toro was trying to do with the first one. It's like the same with, I can't remember what the other movie was we were talking about. But it's like, I don't know, the second Sicario movie, or something, where you have this like unique director who's like telling his own way of the story, and then it gets popular and there's a sequel, but it's not the same person who made that film special. So you just get like just generic director who makes this generic punch out movie. And I just don't really like this universe. I do like John Boyega in this movie. He's a better main character than
Charlie Hunnam.
whoever the guy was. Charlie Hunnam in the first one. But everything else in this one is just like inferior version of the first one.
I will say that it's weird to me when the sequel have worse visual effects than the original. It happened on Jurassic Park, and it happens here too. Like every Jaeger looks fake. It's like it turns into a cartoon in the middle of the movie. I also kind of hate the Charlie Day twist because it makes no fucking sense. Because if you guys forgot, the other guy whose name I forget right now also drifted with the kaiju. So why is he okay and he's not fucking possessed by the kaiju spirits? No sense makes. And also, the one thing I will say, the one positive thing for me, other than John Boyega, is the little girl with the little kaiju thingy. I think it's Scrapper. I think was the name, like the little Jaeger. The ones that turns into a ball, yes. Mike, why is this better than Pacific Rim?
This movie is like someone pissed in my Cheerios. Fucking hate this movie. This movie's so stupid. Like the first one is so great. Yeah, and then this one, goddamn. I agree with everything Jake said. They turned it into a bastardization of the first one. Fuck this movie.
I honestly kind of hate the fact that they grabbed Gypsy Danger and they just made another one with 2 cores and called it Gypsy Avenger. Fuck Gypsy Avenger. Fucking yikes. Next movie. Power Rangers. 2 stars. You don't like giant robots?
Ryan Emerson's gonna get mad.
Why do you hate giant robots, Jake?
I like giant robots. It's just it's these certain movies from this decade or last decade that are just terrible. So I don't know. I grew up with Power Rangers. As a kid, one of my favorite things, that, Trains, and Spider-Man. That's child me in a nutshell. And I just had no interest in seeing this movie, but I saw it just out of curiosity. Like, yeah. It stars Dacre Montgomery, who's from my hometown, Perth. And I know a couple of people who have worked with him on films before, so I like there's a kind of bit of a connection there. So I was kind of curious to see like how he would be in like the Hollywood movie, and like this film is like just it's just generic action. Like there's not really any action. There's nothing that really engages you with the film. They're just trying to practice and train, and then the last third act is just this giant action scene, and some of that's pretty good, but the rest of it is just too much that I just don't really care for. Oh, and also Krispy Kreme product placement is terrible.
I will be honest. I actually kind of really enjoyed this movie. I know Power Rangers, but they were not my thing when I was a kid. And I was kind of amazed at the fact that they are still making Power Ranger seasons 20-something years later, and they actually have never stopped. They did give up on continuity after like 6 or 7 seasons. But other than that, this is a more interesting version to me of the Power Rangers. I feel like out of the 3 theatrical movies, this is probably the best one, which is not saying much, I know, but still. And the only thing that is weird to me is one, Elizabeth Banks is in a whole other movie than anybody else. Her Rita Repulsa is kind of weird. And I kind of hated the way she did, the way they did Goldar, because it's not really Goldar. But other than that, yeah, Naomi Scott, cute, and everything else pretty good. Mike, you like Krispy Kreme?
Yeah, do you know what? I will take the campy, ridiculous Power Rangers over them trying to make everything dark and, you know, disturbing and, you know, just try to be, oh, it's going to be scary. It's a darker Power. You know, fuck that. You don't need the darker shit for everything. It doesn't fucking work for everything. It did not work with this movie.
Hot take. Mike loves the 95 Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie.
Compared to this one, yeah, I'll take that one over that one.
Death Note, 2 stars. Why do
Yeah.
you hate people who write in books to kill other people?
Because they write in books to kill people. Isn't that a bad thing? I have not read the manga. I've not seen the TV show. I watched this because it was on Netflix. I knew what Death Note was. I just wanted to. I was curious. The best thing about this movie is holy patron that is Willem Dafoe as the as Ryuk, I believe he's the that
Yes.
demon man. Yes, I don't like Nat Wolf. It's Nat Wolf, right? Yes, because Alex Wolf is Hereditary. Nat Wolf, I just don't like him in this movie. He's a terrible light. And there's when he first sees Ryuk, he screams and he's smiling while he screams. It's terrible. It's actually pretty hilarious, but it's terrible. And I just don't really buy like the relationship. Lakeith Stanfield's really good in the movie. I think it was the first thing I ever saw him in, where I was like, oh, I actually kind of paid attention to like him as an actor. I was like, wow, he's actually doing kind of cool. But it's just really who cares sort of stuff. Whitewashing as well. Terrible.
I don't really like this movie either. The source material is a million times better than this. It's like I don't know. Have you guys seen the Dragon Ball movie?
No.
Yes.
It's the same concept. Like, it's based on a really expansive world with a lot of details and a lot of stuff. And they want to make it into a single 90-minute movie. And it just doesn't fucking work. Also, they make all the wrong choices, just like in Dragon Ball. And yeah, this movie made me hate Nat Wolf so much that I almost didn't watch Hereditary for it, because they told me he was like one of the main characters.
It's his brother in that one.
Cool. I don't know. Aren't they the same person?
No, they're brothers.
Jesus Christ, I thought they were the same person. Anyway, Death Note is fucking pretty bad. And the way they tried to make it work in the end, like he was so smart ahead of everybody with the twist after the Ferris wheel. Fuck that movie.
Ferris wheel, and he falls into the water, and then he dies, and all that sort of stuff.
Do you love Death Note, Mike?
Haven't seen it.
Don't. Next movie. Flushed Away from DreamWorks. 2 stars. Come on, man. Why you hate Hugh Jackman? You're like,
did you know that the name of the boat is the Jammy Butcher?
Yeah.
This is just like I like the world of like all the rats and all that sort of stuff. That's cool. I'll be honest, I haven't seen this in a while. I can't believe like this is like all the films that be like this one you pick. A couple of good moments. Danny Warhol's song "Bohemian Like You" is in this movie. That's a pretty cool moment. I like that scene. And yeah, no, it's like the animation just does not look good. I know it's Aardman and it's like it's partially stop motion, or like that's like the style of it all. It just doesn't really fit, and it's kind of distracting to look at. And Jean Reno plays a French frog, which that's okay, but like, I just don't really care for this movie.
You know what? Kind of fair. This is a weird one. I do not hate it. I actually rewatched it recently with my kid. We're watching all the Aardman movies. Actually, we watch Chicken Run, then we watch Wallace and Gromit's Curse of the Were Rabbit, and then we watch this. Yeah. Big step down. CGI is not better than stop animation, but still not without its redeeming factors. I actually thought it was kind of funny. La Frog, it still makes me laugh to this day. Yeah, Mike, you watch every single cartoon that comes out. How do you feel about Flushed Away?
I haven't seen this.
Cool. Next one. Daredevil with Ben Affleck, 2 stars, and Bill Hart. Is this the regular version or the director's cut, Jake?
I would say, I think the director's cut is better.
It is.
I would say director's cut. Yeah.
I actually think the director's cut is a really good movie. I know that is also not a popular opinion, so we don't doubt that. that deeply into this shit because this has to be worm ticks. But yeah, the regular version of Daredevil leaves a lot to be desired. I do like the insane.
I like the director's cut.
Yes,
I like the director's cut to a certain degree. I mean, even theatrical as well. The director's cut adds like this whole Coolio storyline that's like just adds more to the lawyer aspect of Matt Murdock, and that's
Fair.
okay. But also has like a very pointless scene of Bullseye arriving at an airport and going through security, and nothing happens in that scene. It just shows him and then him scaring a dog. It's hilarious. I love Colin Farrell in this movie. He's just so funny to watch. He kills someone with paper clips. He kills an old lady with a nut. That shit's awesome. He makes this movie, and every time he goes bullseye,
Yeah, he always has
it's
to point to
awesome.
it.
I love that shit. He does the point. It's great. I think that's my review actually. And some of the action scenes are pretty cool, but like it's just generic superhero trying to be cool and edgy, and that shit's hilarious. Hence the love heart. But like it's a bad movie.
I agree. I actually think Bullseye is by far the best thing in this movie. Colin Farrell doesn't give a fuck. He's like, there's a shot where he's like coming down an escalator and he's just like dancing like for no reason. Like, yeah, and also the Bullseye, Bullseye, yeah, it's great. Also, I actually love them lines like when Ben Affleck is throwing the guy in front of the train track. He's like, "You see the end of the light at the tunnel? That's the seat train.
That's not heaven."
What? I mean, that was the worst thing to end that phrase when he could have said. He's like, "Okay, I know it's a fucking train." Anyway, pretty good. Actually, I know it's a fair take, but I actually kind of also love that movie. Weirdly, Mike, what do you think about Daredevil?
I'm the same with you when it comes to the director's cut. I enjoy it. It's so fucking ridiculous, and I enjoy it a lot. It's basically kind of like the same of like Batman Forever, where it's so fucking ridiculous, it's so campy that I just enjoy it.
Well, apparently we're not a very popular pick in movies because damn, Daredevil. Showgirl at 2 stars. What's up?
Yeah, overwhelmed, overstuffed about shit that I don't care about. There's a lot of nudity and all that stuff. That's like, the best sex scene in film history with whatever Elizabeth. What's her name? Elizabeth Hurley. Elizabeth
Hurley.
What's her
Yes.
name?
Yeah.
Trump Saved by the Bell.
Yes, and Carl McLaughlin. Amazing sex scene. Makes no sense whatsoever how it's done, but it's brilliant. But everything else is just it's overstuffed and it's like excessive. Like this film is the definition of excessiveness, and that could be just part of the style of what Verhoeven was trying to do. But it's very excessive.
Elizabeth Berkley feels like she's on cocaine on this movie. She's like hype all the way through and ready to fucking cut you. It's kind of brilliantly insane. Joe Esterhazy is a trash screenwriter. I don't care what people say about the movies they like Basic Instinct. He's fucking trash. But Paul Verhoeven, man, he just fucking makes this fucking shit funny and work. I mean, it's not a good movie, but definitely fucking memorable because, you know, everybody got AIDS and shit.
Everybody got AIDS.
Mike, Showgirls, what do you think about the sequel to Saved by the Bell?
I've seen it once, don't really remember it.
Kind of sad though. I know we should probably shouldn't tell you this, but yeah, go watch Showgirls.
Up to you. That good.
Star Trek Insurrection, the movie that made F. Murray Abraham famous. 2 stars. Why?
Yeah, is that true? Is that true? That really make F. Murray Abraham famous? That Amadeus won an Oscar.
No. I only remember him as the Insurrection guy, but whatever.
That's so this is just like okay, like this is like an episode of like the show type of story of just people live on a planet and they're immortal, and then people want to be immortal, so they kick the people off the planet, and it's all this shit. And it's just a lot of it's just really boring. I'm not really engaged by what's going on in the characters. Like, there's a twist later on in the movie where you find out the identity of the villains, I guess. Donna Murphy's in this movie. Donna Murphy played Otto Octavius's wife, who gets killed by glass in Spider-Man 2. I appreciate her being in this movie. But this is just really generic. And there's Klingon puberty, and I don't really care for that.
Ew. Also, of the Next Generation ones, a lot of people think this is the worst one. I honestly, I don't know. Other than Tom yes, thank you. I was gonna say, other than Tom Hardy, I don't like Nemesis a little bit. Not even a little bit. Mike, why do you like the guy from Insurrection in this movie?
All the older Star Trek movies blend together to me, so yeah, I don't remember which one is which, so fuck it. Don't really care for any of them.
So this is Next Generation, Mike. This is not one of the oldest ones.
I consider all the older ones other than 2009. Fucking
So Kelvin timeline for you all the way. Cool. Next movie. 2 stars on Fever Pitch. Colin Newberry is gonna fuck you.
Well, he didn't like Eraserhead, so he can go fuck himself. He doesn't like all the weird shit that I have on my fucking top 100. So when I watch one of his movies, I don't care. Like, this is just generic ass rom-com about some guy who's obsessed with baseball. And I just don't care for the subject of sports in general. And I think their relationship's kind of cute, but who cares? This one's just not fun to watch.
But look at the poster. Drew Barrymore is biting her lip. It's cute.
Is it though? I like Drew Barrymore in a lot of stuff. In this, I just don't care.
I disagree.
It's baseball. Like the ball. You hit the ball. Like, I don't find any engagement in that sort of stuff.
I kind of disagree on this take. I think this is a pretty solid movie, but it's not really a popular opinion that this movie is good. So I'm gonna allow it as a warm take. Mike, you also love the sports.
I don't love the sports, but I enjoy this movie. I do enjoy this movie. It's generic, but I enjoy it. Fuck it.
Fair.
It's also a remake.
It's a remake of a soccer movie, which is weirder.
Yeah, I didn't get Grandis in that. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, what do I see here? What do I see here? Do I see a Kurt Russell movie that has 2.5 fucking stars right there? Is that what I'm seeing?
This isn't a Kurt Russell movie. This is a Marvel movie.
And we're done.
Yep. I agree with this. Oh my god, man. Honestly, this is one of my top 5 of MCU movies.
It's fucking ridiculous right now.
Fucking movie. This is a fucking great fucking movie.
Yeah, this is a great fucking movie.
Let's see what the motherfucker from Rubber has to say. Wake the fuck up and explain yourself.
It's like midnight. I want to get to bed. This isn't a Kurt Russell movie. This is a Marvel movie. This is a film made in a factory, and I just don't care for this movie. This movie's just not fun. I don't like it. I don't like the action scenes. They're not that engaging or interesting. I don't like the characters. They stay on a planet for like most of the movie, and I don't really. They're fighting a god. Like, how can you beat a god? Really? Like, there's no tension. I don't feel anything for what's going on in this movie. I just don't really like the Guardians in general. Too wacky for my.
He's a god, not the god. So yes, he can be beaten. 2.
I never said he's the god.
I get your cynicism. I do. But this fucking movie makes me cry like a little baby every fucking time in the last scene. So fuck that take.
Yeah, this is a great fucking movie.
Okay, so I do want to bring up Yondu's. Okay, so remember in the first movie when basically the exact same scene happens and Star-Lord's put his suit or whatever, his thing on Gamora, and he's able to survive for like a minute out in space without breathing, and he starts to freeze and all that sort of stuff. And the spaceship picks him up and he's still alive. Why didn't they do the exact same thing in this one? There was the ship. The ship was out there. They just needed to just quickly they needed to be quick, and they just was like, oh, let's have this somber moment, and it's just the realism is broken because in that situation they should just immediately go and save Yondu. We saw it in the first one. Why didn't it happen in this one?
Realism.
The
It's a fucking talking tree. Realism.
Because
Fucking realism.
because Yondu is from a weaker species than humans, man. He couldn't even last that long. Just think about it. Come on. Anyway, trash takes from Jake here. Let's move on. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. 2.5 stars.
I want
Now,
to put this at 1.5.
This is a fucking warm take. If I've ever seen one. Why is this the worst fucking movie ever made about Star Wars?
This isn't the worst Star Wars movie. Believe it or not, I mean, the prequels are terrible. Nothing will beat the prequels as far as just like negative how bad they are. This is almost on the same level. It's just more about like the studio trying to fix what Rian Johnson did in The Last Jedi and try and have this idea of like the trilogy and ending it on like the satisfying epic conclusion. And I just feel like it should have. The biggest problem with the sequel trilogy is that it should have been one singular vision. Someone should have said, "This is what's going to happen in Episode 7. This is going to happen in 8, and this is going to happen in 9." Instead of giving it to directors and writers and like, "Oh, just end it here, and then we'll get someone else, and he'll figure out where to go from there, and then it'll be something completely different that wasn't set up in the first one." And this is just like the domino effect of it just all coming down, and Palpatine comes back. There's a line in the movie where someone says, somehow Palpatine has come back, and what's the point? Like, why? There's nothing satisfying about this conclusion.
First of all, what do you mean fucking fixing The Last Jedi? How do you fix perfection?
I'm not criticizing The Last Jedi.
I will give one prediction. I predict that at some point over the next 10 years, Disney will actually grab Colin Trevorrow's script of Duel of the Fates and make that movie with these actors and release it as an alternate version. As an alternate version of this movie. I'll bet you $500 on it. Because I know it will fucking sell tickets. Because people like me will actually go fucking see that shit. Because I did like the sequel trilogy and I was extremely fucking disappointed of this piece of shit right here. Mike, you are the biggest Star Wars guy I ever known. Why do you like this?
I've said it multiple times. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars in general. I think they're all right movies. I don't love them. I don't hate them. They're just okay. So fuck it.
This movie's trash. Move on. Boom! Captain Marvel, 2.5 stars. Why do you hate women so much, Jake?
I knew that was coming.
Of course it was.
So, Captain Marvel has the same problem that I had with Superman. There's no flaws with the character when they become like the ultimate uber mesh, and they become so OP that nothing can destroy them. Take for instance when Captain Marvel unleashes all of her powers and then she starts to fly and she smashes through a spaceship, completely destroying it. Who the fuck is gonna be able to stand a chance against her now? Like, there's no tension. I really like comic book movies that have tension. That's why I like the first two Spider-Man movies, because Spider-Man gets beaten up. In this one, she doesn't get hit at all. She's able to smash through a spaceship, like, easily. Like, there's no tension that I feel with anything that happens. And the massive hot take, I guess, but I just don't like Brie Larson in this role. I don't think she fits. I don't like the character. I just don't really care for what's going on. Some of her past is interesting, and they explore that, and some of that's like cool to see. But I feel like Brie Larson's only good at playing the bitchy ex-girlfriend, as seen in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and The Spectacular Now. She's great in those two movies because she's playing a very specific type of character that she can play. I don't really care for her in this movie, and the whole idea of women empowerment is I'm all on board, absolutely. I just want it to be films that are good and critically acclaimed movies that I can be like that I can enjoy and like. And this is a Marvel movie first and foremost, not some feminist propaganda masterpiece and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah.
The disrespect of Brie Larson in 21 Jump Street is palpable.
I don't like 21 Jump Street.
Take that shit. Also, this movie, I think she's going for a very stoic thing that, yes, doesn't really work. But I will admit, though, this movie got better for me on rewatches. When I rewatched it with my wife, she thought it was and I was like, I thought it was the first time I watched it, but now I'm thinking like, huh? So it does get better. Yeah,
fair enough.
About the overpowered thing, fair. I mean, they actually literally had to just make an excuse for her to not be in Avengers Endgame till the last scene. She's like, I'm busy. But Thanos is destroyed. Yeah, but I'm busy. I'm over there. I'm going to be over there.
I have to go now. My planet needs me. And then she flies out, and then it says, Captain Marvel returned to her own planet.
And then at the end, she's like, I'm back. No one kicks some ass. Cool. Mike, Captain Marvel, feminist propaganda or what?
I almost agree with Jake for the most part. I don't mind her in the role at all, but the movie in general, yeah, is one of the weaker entries for MCU in general. She's just too fucking overpowered to really care what fucking happens because you know she's gonna fucking destroy him. So it really doesn't fucking matter with the story. Put her against somebody that can actually do something, and then maybe it's a better movie. But yeah, other than that, fuck it.
It features a blockbuster, so it's okay on my book. Boom. RPO, 2.5 stars. You're breaking Mike's heart.
God damn it. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Kurt Russell's not in this movie, so I don't know. I've seen this movie a fair bit of times, and it's definitely like a celebration. I'm done with like the whole nostalgia of the '80s, and maybe this is partially just because I didn't grow up in the '80s. But the way that I know the '80s is the way that people have fantasized what the '80s was. Like, this is fantasy '80s. This is pop culture references. This is, your Back to the Future. This is your Spielberg and what defined the '80s in terms of what made it awesome. And there's been so many nostalgia '80s movies like Ready Player One that it's just I want to see new ideas from. And there's some really cool ideas in this. I really like the Shining sequence. That's really cool. I think what they do with that is really nice and entertaining, and the way there's a bit of film grain in that sequence that really emulates the look of The Shining. I think that's cool. But everything else is just so much CG, and it just looks really just like sensory overload, and I just can't pay attention to what's going on.
I have one question because I have mixed feelings about this movie, very, very mixed, and I know Mike actually really likes it. But is it because I am an old fuck? But isn't it well known that the memorable thing about Adventure in Atari was the fact that it has an Easter egg?
Which is cool. Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, like, is that not like a well-known fact? Because at the moment, at the moment I saw they were playing Adventure in Atari for the last level, they was like, they have to find the Easter egg. And when I went to the theater and people like talked about this, they were like, shocking. I was like, no. I mean, everybody knows that the first Easter egg of every single video game is in Adventure, because Atari wouldn't let the designers put their names on the credits, so they hid the name in the game.
I think I heard about that detail before, much earlier, just out of whatever, just watching a video about video games and all that sort of stuff. So when that happened, I totally forgot, and then I just totally forgot about it. And then when he was playing Adventure and he was talking about the fact that it was the first game to have the Easter eggs, I was like, that's right. But it didn't cross my mind. That's just a detail that I don't think a lot of young people know. So,
Mike.
Yeah. I enjoy this movie. Go fuck yourself. I like it. We already knew it.
The man will never trash talk Spielberg. Fair. Boom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
I gotta get this 1.5. This one was bad. This is terrible. Little clone girl is the worst thing.
This is the worst Jurassic film ever made. Mike will disagree with me.
Yes, there's one that is worse than this one.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Yes, this movie is ridiculous. Everything about it is ridiculous. Every time I think about it, something else pops up, and I was like, fuck, that was also ridiculous. The worst part to me, by far, has to be the ending, though. When they release the poison gas in the cages in the basement of the mansion, and they're like, oh my God, the dinosaurs will die. And they release every dinosaur from their cage. And they're like, oh, but they're still trapped inside. They're going to die. And they open the big door, and they're like, well, they're like me, so I had to free them. Like, there was no choice here. Excuse the fuck out of me. Yes, there was. How about not opening the individual cages and opening the main door so the fucking gas blows outside, but the dinos stay in the jail cells?
What I don't like about this one is that it goes against what the first one set up. The first one is about nature. You know, we can't control it. Whatever, life finds a way. That's the whole theme of the first movie. You can't control nature. Mike, I'm talking to you about this. Yeah. You like Jeff Goldblum, right?
Oh, yeah.
In this movie, he talks to, I don't know, he's at Congress or something, and he's like, the volcano, it's going to erupt and it's going to kill the dinosaurs. Let's not intervene. Let's let nature take its course. Because if we intervene, it could lead to humanity's, you know, it could be extinction. Let's just let the dinosaurs die. This is what nature's intended. And Bryce Dallas Howard and her whatever group are trying to rescue. See, there we go. Life finds a way. Bryce Dallas Howard is going against what Jeff Goldblum said. She's trying to save them, and throughout the entire movie, I do not care about what she or the other, I don't know, Peter people are trying to do, because the dinosaurs should die. This is what nature had intended millions of years ago. So when that opportunity comes at the end of the film, it goes against what Jeff Goldblum was talking about, and we all are for Jeff Goldblum. So why should we see this happen? Just so another film can happen. That's all that is. And the clone girl made the worst decision by letting them live. A bunch of people are going to die now.
Okay, so I agree with you. I don't love this movie, but there is one worse one, and it's because of this. At the very least, at least Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt are the same fucking people from the previous movie. You have fucking Alan Grant, who is a completely different motherfucker from the first one to the third one. He is a completely different fucking character. It's like he's not even playing Alan Grant. He's just playing some fucking weird motherfucker that wants to go there. Like, it's so fucking strange how, like, completely different he is in the third one. That's why I do not care for the third one, because they went, yeah, let's take Alan Grant, let's bring him back. Okay, awesome. I'm for that. Yeah, let's just change everything. Fuck it. He's not the same person at all.
But he's still wearing the blue shirt and the hat.
That's the only similarity they have. It's a fucking hat and shirt. That's it. This movie, yeah. This movie is not good. Like, if they would have stuck with the whole just island part, like, make that about the movie, about the volcano and shit, yeah, I think it would be a fun fucking ride. But with them taking that out,
the Toby Jones auctioneer part, and that is fucking great.
The wing is just like
we wouldn't have the indoor raptor pretending to like be sleeping like a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon against the other guy, or peeking under the sheets for the little girl like a fucking creep. Great shit. Bad movie. Next movie. Spider-Man 3. 2.5 stars. Jake. Oh my God. Why?
This film is better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I'll defend that.
No. Yes,
no.
It is.
Yeah.
Fuck those Amazing Spider-Man movies.
You want to know why?
You motherfucker is Peter Parker.
Because Sam Raimi. He is what makes this film at least watchable. Mark Webb, what the fuck is he doing with Spider-Man? They just got some generic romantic comedy director guy to, hey, make this film for teens. And it's terrible. And Sony just wanted to make like a new franchise, and they would care more about the franchise. And Sam Raimi just wanted to make an entertaining movie that he could tell, he could complete the arc of Peter and Harry Osborn and their rivalry. And he got half-assed because of Venom and all that sort of shit. But this film's at least entertaining. Like the action scenes, especially when Spider-Man's fighting Sandman, both times, I think are really fun. When he's got the black suit and he's just smashing Sandman's face on the train, that shit's really entertaining to watch. Emo Park is funny. There's a lot of hilarious moments. That makes the movie kind of interesting. J. Jonah Jameson has some amazing moments. Nothing will beat Spider-Man 2 and the first one, but like there's some great moments. Spider-Man putting his hand in a cookie jar, and all that sort of stuff is great. Him taking his tablets, and it keeps buzzing, and it's like knocking him, and it take the tablets. It's so good. And it's just fun. It's not as good as Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, but like there's some good moments in it.
This movie is the worst Spider-Man movie ever made. And I do like Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman. I'm pretty sure if you take fucking Topher Grace out of the movie with the whole Venom shit, this would have been a decent movie. I can vouch for that. But it's not, because it has this shit on it. And no,
so you think this is worse than The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
I like it less than The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god.
You're insane.
Electro gets his teeth fixed with electricity. That's fucking gold.
And Peter gets his hair like emo style.
Yeah, no. Mike, where do you stand on the Spider-Man divide?
I enjoy this better than both Amazing Spider-Mans. Fuck those movies. Those movies are garbage.
Yes.
You don't like even the one with the lizard?
No, fuck that. Because that's not Peter Parker to me. He was not ever Peter Parker to me.
Funny story, I had a nephew that really loved Spider-Man, like love hardcore Spider-Man. So I got premiere tickets from The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. And I took him with his dad. I invited them so they could go with me and my wife. They had 4 tickets. And when we get to the theater, and he's like, what are we going to watch? I was like, we're going to watch Pirates of the Caribbean. He's like, what? My dad told me we were watching a Spider-Man movie. I was like, I'm sorry your dad told you that. We're here to watch the Pirates. Let's go. And then when we're sitting down in the theater, like he's like with his popcorn like this, he starts fucking crying. I was like, what is happening, kid? He's like, I thought we were going to watch Spider-Man. This is how I learned not to troll little kids. They don't know when you're trolling them. I was fucking wearing a Spider-Man jacket and he still bought it. Sad. Moving on. Next movie. Boom. Yesterday. 2.5. You know what? Fair. I'm not going to talk about this one. The Bills saved that up to 2 stars, but not more than that. Next one. The Lost World Jurassic Park. 2.5. This is my favorite sequel. What are you doing?
I mean, like...
Jeff Goldblum hate is real. Fuck you. We're done. We are done. Fuck this shit.
Come on, we need to feel some more air. Bring the guy up. Bring it.
I love Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum's awesome. It's just okay. So you remember in like the there's the scene with the velociraptors, and the chick does like the flips on the pole and then kicks a velociraptor, and like that kills it. I think this is what Jurassic Park is, Mike. Is seeing something like this in a Jurassic Park movie?
Nothing will ever beat the first Jurassic Park movie. So I don't take that argument into account at all, because nothing will ever compare to what that was. That magic will never go there again. This is a fun fucking monster movie. I was not expecting
They had to-
to have. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like the whole idea is that they go back to the island, and okay, so all the dinosaurs are wandering
This is
around.
island.
And they're
It's a
not
different
entertaining.
island, first of all.
But I was gonna say,
First of all, it's a
I
different
mean,
island. You son of a bitch.
I'm not done. I have a point to make. That's like the concept you go with, is they're going back to the island, but they're not going back to the island. They introduce Site B, Isla Sorna. Like, who cares? Why do you have to set that up? Why was that never mentioned in the first one? In this one, it should have been just them going back to the island and seeing it all in a different, geography, in a different area, and everything's grown out. That would have been much more interesting, just to see them go back and like they introduce Site B, and it's just like there's no reason to, other than he has to see how the dinosaurs are doing, because we had no idea that they were in the first one. I do like the ending with the T-Rex destroying San Diego. That stuff's fun.
That's the worst part of the movie. What the fuck are you talking about?
And Pete Postlewaite, he's good in it.
Yes, Bill Postlewaite is actually pretty brilliant. Yes, actually, one, they didn't mention Little Sorn in the first movie because they hadn't thought about it yet, man. This is sequel fodder. Come on. Two, I actually found it kind of lazy too, that the fact that, like, yes, the first one, Isla Nublar, is a mess because they ran away, but why is Isla Sorna a mess? Oh, we abandoned the installations. What do you mean you fucking abandoned the installations? It's an island full of dinosaurs. I mean, they probably would be auctioning the fucking dinosaurs off before abandoning the installation. That makes no fucking sense. But this movie does has the Spielberg touch. I feel it has kind of that spark that makes it, like, interesting, if nothing else. It's a hard one because I actually prefer Jurassic Park 3. I find that one
Because
funny.
you're fucking insane. That's why.
I find that one funny. But this, I mean, like, I can feel the care and work that went into this one more than Jurassic Park 3, but overall I think 3 is funnier, so I go with 3. And Mike hates 3. Yeah.
It's funnier. I like that. It's funnier.
They make 3 jokes.
Fucking comedy.
They make 3 jokes about fucking dino shit, and I laugh every fucking time. Moving on.
It's funnier.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2.5. This is the best comic book, best video game adapted movie of all time. And you give it 2.5? What the fuck?
I went in this with low expectations, and so the fact that I came out with 2.5 stars kind of says that it's actually pretty fun. Like, it's still bad. There's a couple of fun sequences, I guess. Like when they're in the bar, and he just slows down. It's like Quicksilver, and he just goes around and like messes everyone up, and then has them punch each other and all that sort of stuff, and wedgies, and he eats a bunch of corn dogs, and that's cool. Like, it's okay. The thing that makes this movie though is Jim Carrey. Like, I've always loved Jim Carrey. He's a fun actor. He's really fun to watch, and in this he just does what he does best, and that's just go crazy. And there's a lot of great sequences and moments that make him just be crazy and just go for it. And yeah, he's entertaining every time he appears on screen.
This movie is actually like redeemed by Jim Carrey because he does a great fucking Robotnik. And there's a subtle joke. I say subtle because I don't know how many people were in the same mindset I was, but at least not the people that saw it with me. They're talking about how lame the other world where he was supposed to go is because it's all mushrooms. That is a fucking diss to Mario Brothers, and a lot of people didn't get that.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
It's a fucking world of mushrooms, a mushroom kingdom. Come on, that's a great joke that a lot of people don't get. The 2 things that I think about this movie is, one, it's kind of stupid to have a movie about the fastest creature in the world, and make him go on a fucking road trip on a car. And 2, I kind of want some Olive Garden breadsticks. Mike,
Man, I wish Olive Garden was in Australia. That would be. I'd be going there every day after watching Sonic the Hedgehog.
I enjoy this movie because of Jim Carrey, 100%. Jim Carrey is fucking awesome in this movie.
when you're here, your family. I get offers every day. So you like it, Mike?
Yeah, for Jim Carrey, 100%. Jim Carrey makes this movie.
Fair. Next movie. Vanilla Sky, you motherfuckers.
Oh. You got some TC and Kurt Russell hate going. This is fucking double.
I don't understand this at all. This movie, the only thing that I cannot call this movie is completely original because it's actually a fucking remake.
Yeah.
But it's so imaginative in its own crazy little world. But yet, this is the movie that everybody kind of shits on. I don't know if because you guys don't fucking get it or what. But I cannot even get Chance, the guy who loves this fucking guy so much, he would probably grab his dick or something to give me a positive feeling about Vanilla Sky. What's that?
So, I definitely was curious to watch this movie because, like, I like weird movies, and this is definitely like one of the, I guess, more popular mainstream Hollywood attempts at it, being a remake of a Spanish film and all. I just like a lot of the attempts at being confusing and like the whole interpretations feels kind of muddled. The director Cameron Crowe has like multiple interpretations of like what the whole thing is, a dream within a dream, and I like stuff involving dreams, but it feels like that's like the whole excuse behind this movie. Oh, when he was in the car crash, it was a dream. Oh, but then he woke up from the dream, and now he's in another dream, and some of the logic of this movie just doesn't really make any sense, and it feels like it was just trying to confuse people. There's some really cool stuff. I like the soundtrack to this movie a lot. There's some good songs in it. But it's just a poor attempt at making a weird art film.
I can't even, Mike.
It's a great fucking movie. Fuck this take.
Yes. You know what? The only reason this is a warm take is because your opinion seems to be the general opinion. Yeah. I just think it's the wrong opinion, as you can probably tell. But I mean, at least it cannot get any more fucking worse than this, right? Next movie. I feel like it is. I will fucking end you.
Holy fucking shit. And I don't see a heart there either. I don't see a fucking heart there, Jake.
Get out of here! Where's my fucking heart? Dude, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first movie. I mean, I get if you give shit to 3 or even maybe 2, but the first one? Come on! And you're so close, too. You're like, give me the half star, make it fucking 3 at least. I wouldn't feel like choking you.
That's fair. I liked the Turtles growing up. I remember watching the 2003 animated show, and I watched the original one. I just don't buy that they're turtles. Like the costumes are just not that good.
Are you fucking shitting? Really... Out of everything you talking about, the costumes or shit?
It's not realistic. It's not realistic enough, Mike.
I just don't buy it. It's like the action scenes are not okay. There's one during the I think it was like the midway before they go to the farm. There's a whole action scene in like a furniture shop. I can't remember. It's like a secondhand shop or something like that. That whole scene's pretty fun. The Shredder's just like, yeah, he's okay.
I have 2 questions for you, Jay. Who's this guy?
That's the Rat Man.
Fucking name him.
It's Master Splinter. I know.
Yes.
Ninja Turtles.
Who's this guy?
The Bunny Rabbit Man. Frank from Donnie Darko, right?
Jimbo. Respect.
I actually did not know that one, so I was not going to get it.
You obviously do not know anything about the lore of Ninja Turtles, so you have no qualifications for giving me shit.
Okay.
Let's move on because I'm fucking pissed.
Holy fucking shit. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Holy shit.
Man.
You wouldn't know this, Jake, but this makes House Party look like House Party 2, you motherfucker.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good point. How do I defend myself when I got you two fuckers gonna roast me on it? It's funny. I don't like Will Ferrell in this movie. He feels really out of place. Like his comedy style doesn't really fit with what Kevin Smith's comedy style is. Like Will Smith's not a guy who says fuck in like his movies, you know? Like he's not really like that kind of like comedy person. Kevin Smith is feel more like it. That's why I think Chris Rock is really funny in this movie as Chaka Luka King, as the director. He's great in this movie. So he's good shit. Mark Hamill's funny in this movie. Some cameos are good. It's fun. It's funny, but like that's all there is to this movie.
It's a fucking comedy, Jake. It's supposed to be funny. It did a fucking job. Are you fucking kidding me?
This is the only movie I've ever known that has a cornholing reference. When Judd Nelson says, "Let's go cornholos at Trump," and I used to think
this is a better Scooby-Doo movie than the two live-action Scooby-Doo movies, and I will stand by that. So it's got that going for it.
The one thing I was confused all these years about the cornhole thing because when they said let's go cornholos at drunk, I thought they were talking about male rape, but apparently they were talking about throwing bags into the guy's ass. Fair. Let's move on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking kidding me.
Oh my God.
I'm
not even an animated fan, and I fucking love this movie. What the hell is going on?
For a fucking second, I thought it was the 2019 remake, but no, it's the original. Yes.
I never really cared for the Lion King. I just don't really care for him. Good moments, great animation. It's a fine story. I just don't really have the same affections for this movie as a lot of people. Like,
as you know, the population of Earth.
What's Earth? I mean, I'm not sure everyone loves this movie, but I think this movie is fun.
Okay,
I just
Jay.
really don't like Pumbaa.
What is the problem, Jake? What is the thing that you don't like about this? Like, what is the worst possible thing about this one?
Pumbaa.
So not even Timon and Pumbaa, but Pumbaa. Okay.
I like Timon. I like Nathan Lane. Just Pumbaa is just. I don't like his comedy. He's fat and he farts. Like I just don't like that.
I get it. I get it now. Women and fat people. Not the Fair. Let's move on. Boom. Princess Bride.
Holy shit. You're just wanting to get destroyed today, Jake. Holy shit.
It's not a hot take because it's positive review, but it still, though, kind of feels
that's a positive.
Why? Why so low, man?
Well, it does have a
I've only
woman on
seen
the
this
cover.
once.
And it does have fat people.
They got the women. You know, I like a lot of movies with women in it, as you'll see in my in your list sucks this week in my top 10. But this is just I've seen this movie once. I've known everything about this movie before I saw it. This is films ingrained in pop culture. The ending, I know everything that happens in this movie. I saw this just because of Full Metal. I saw it and I liked it. There's some good moments. Mandy Patinkin's awesome. The dialogue's great. But like that's just it to me. Like there's nothing deep about this movie. A lot of it's very skin deep, and I like stuff with a bunch of layers.
Like fucking Shrek.
Yes.
Go on. Jackie Brown 3-star.
I'm sorry, I was gonna fucking kill you.
You know what?
I think this is more of a. This is definitely a warm take.
No, I don't want to hear it. Let's move on. Sausage Party, 3 stars. fucking fair, I guess. Why this not funny enough for you?
I mean, this is a great idea if it was like it lasted like 5 minutes, and then Seth Rogen's like, we can make a lot more money if we made this a feature-length film, because the idea is funny. A lot of it's just very like obvious jokes, like, oh, he's a bagel, that means he's Jewish. Oh, she's a taco, that means she's Spanish, and she's a lesbian. That's funny. Ha 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 ha. Nick Kroll, he voices a douche. He puts his butthole in the guy, and he controls him at the end, and then he explodes. I just that's it, really.
You know, like a douche.
Some of it's funny, but like that's all it is. There's nothing else to this movie other than some funny jokes, and it has a weird ending as well, where they like see the actors and like we're gonna go into the real world. That blew my fucking mind.
There's nothing into this comedy other than some jokes. Jake Maringoni. Also,
yes,
the orgy in the end is something different. It's a fucking food orgy. I mean, you don't get that. Yeah, it's kind of weird when they decide to go fucking get Seth Rogen or something after they get fucking high. I don't know. Yeah, this movie's not great, but it's funny. I mean, Mike, did you find this movie funny?
No, I'm kind of with Jake on this one, to where, yeah, it didn't hit me like the rest of Seth Rogen's movies have, like the ones he's written and or directed. This is one of the ones that I went, all right.
So are you guys excited for that movie where the guy gets preserved in pickled juice for like 100 years and comes back, and it's also played by Seth Rogen when he talks to Seth Rogen in the present that is coming out like in 2 weeks on streaming?
I did not know that was coming out in 2 weeks, but fuck it. Might as well watch it.
Have you guys not seen this trailer?
No.
We're doing a reaction M-rank after this. Cool.
All right.
Boom. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 3 stars.
Oh, I forgot. It's you two. Mr. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory motherfuckers here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I knew it. God damn it.
I was going to say, this is a very warm take because he knows, obviously, the better version is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I do. I do, sir. I do like this one. As a kid, I thought this movie was just fantastic, and it slowly kind of dwindled over time. There's some funny jokes. The guy that creates the supercomputer that can tell him where the chocolate is, or like the golden ticket. It's like, what would a machine do with a lifetime supply of chocolate? And there's funny jokes like that. The guy with like the moose ears in like the background when he's like interviewing Augustus Gloop. Good stuff like that. I just like the other one more. This one's a little too whimsical and like optimistic. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Tim Burton, is very nihilistic, and I just prefer that one. That one's just more like the whole idea of like, this is fucked up. Like this man in a chocolate factory inviting kids to see it. That was just more of like my type of like nihilism perspective.
Also, the chocolate river in Tim Burton's movie looks like delicious fucking milk chocolate, and in this one looks like fucking diarrhea.
The songs are better.
Mike, make it 3 for 3. Why do you love the Charlie one better than this one?
I love the Charlie one more than this one. This one's an amazing fucking movie because of Gene Wilder. You got fucking Charlie in the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp being the creepiest motherfucker on planet Earth.
But they give us the backstory of why he
compared to the first
candy.
one.
He liked candy because his dad was Christopher Lee.
Dad was a dentist.
He didn't let him eat candy when he was a kid.
You guys are fucking insane. Willy Wonka all the way, god damn it.
You
fucking crazy.
You get nothing.
Well, you know, fuck it. We're done for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm kicking them both out. Fuck this shit. I'm done with this crap.
That was rough. Wait. Okay. Last movie for tonight. Last movie for tonight.
What we got?
I should-
Holy
Home Alone
fuck!
2.
Holy fucking shit!
No, this is what we're gonna end on.
Yes, it is. How do you feel about fucking childhood delicious stories
Okay,
from Christmas?
before you answer this, Jake, I just have one question for you. Do you have any of the Home Alones after this one rated higher than this one? That's all I want
Oh
to know.
my god!
Hell no. Hell
Okay. Okay, I'll give you
no.
that. You got
3
points
is
for that. Then.
terrible.
You got fucking points for that. Then I'll give you that. Now explain yourself, goddammit.
Okay, so this film is the exact same film as the first one. So that means the
But in
exact
New
same
York.
jokes, things in play, but it's in New York. That's what makes it different, but it doesn't really make it that different. You have the old man Marley surrogate, which is the old pigeon lady who was in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
I still think
you
that her
have-
character is from Angels in the Outfield. That she lost the kids and she went, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go live on the street now."
Oh, in Central Park. Florida.
That is kind of what happened.
Yeah, it's just I like Tim Curry in this movie. Tim Curry's funny. He has some good moments in the movie when they're playing the sequel. Like even Angels with Even Filthier Souls. So let's just do that again. And that I think that's
you got
fun.
him right. Let's do
Oh,
it
that's
again.
good. Get down on my knees and tell me you love me. Oh, that sort of stuff's good.
You know
some of
what
the death traps. Some of the traps are cool.
You know what I wanna see? I wanna know what happened in the year between this movie and the previous movie. Something terrible must has happened to like Kevin McAllister's dad because he went from taking his whole family to a Paris vacation to a fucking Florida trip.
And it's like raining all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's terrible. Well, he's a
Also,
bad dad.
The wet bandits were funnier than the sticky bandits, I guess. To be
Yeah,
fair.
Sticky Bandits is terrible.
Also, it's
Yeah.
the traps. The one part I don't really like is the house. It feels too fucking convenient that he just went to the house of his uncle and destroyed it. But other
Remember when
than
he's
that,
throwing bricks and it keeps hitting Marv and he doesn't die from like having a
It's a
Doesn't
live
have, like,
action Looney Tunes. What do you
brain
mean?
damage?
Movies are live action Looney
and then he
Tunes.
electrocutes him and then he turns into a skeleton, which is I think is goofy and funny. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. It's kind of like what the fuck? That's like the only thing that's the only joke in that movie. Everything else feels like it's on a different level, and that's just like what? It's like that becomes
wanna
really cutting.
see a realistic version of Home Alone, Better Watch Out. That's a realistic version. They do the goddamn fucking paint can and it smashes the dude's head in and he's gone. He's fucking gone with one hit.
have you guys seen? You know who Mark Robert is? This guy that makes like science-based videos on YouTube. He made one where he was trying like several things from like classic movies, and one of the things he tried is if it was realistic that the blowtorch to the head in the first one was actually the person could come out alive after 7 seconds of straight up fire, and spoiler, he wouldn't be fine.
Well, no shit. These are live action Looney Tunes, man. That's what it's supposed to be.
That's Warp Takes for you guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Yeah, exactly that. Thank you for sticking with us with what probably will end up being about an hour and 40 minutes after Mike edits some of the mess shit we did. Other than that,
In next
it's been great.
week,
Thanks, Jake, for coming up today for this. Thanks, Mike,
happy to be
for
here.
only showing up. We got the maestro. He had some fucking warm takes today. But we love him. See you next week, guys.
Roach Unpack's not a toy.